Hi, the title of this one is Banking in the Age of Big Brother, or BBB, Big Brother Banking. Now, many years ago, not so many years ago, what you could walk into a bank with a suitcase full of $1 million, but $1 million is a little bit high for a lot of our watchers. So let's say 100,000 or even 50,000. You could walk in to any Swiss bank or even any American bank for that matter with 50,000 cash and say, I'd like to open an account. And the banker would, hey, smile big and say, wow, thank you. Uh, and you'd have an account. And these days, in contrast, if you walk into a bank and say, I have a lot of cash, maybe 12,000, and you say, I kind of want to keep it very private, and I want to. It'll be cash, $100 bills. Can you help me? Guess what? He calls the cops, and you go to jail. Can you believe that? So life is very different. Before, you could go in with $1 million in a suitcase, and that, well, I can't say $1 million was ordinary, but a lot of cash. People did things in cash. They bought cars for cash. They bought houses for cash. When they sold, they got cash. Now you can't. There was no such thing as money laundering. Nobody, nobody thought it. There was no such thing as money laundering. If you bought something with cash or sold it with cash, that was ordinary. And then all of a sudden, anything with cash is is criminal. And in Europe, you can't even get much cash out of a bank at one time. I think, in some places it's 500 euros, which is about 600, 700 cash in dollars. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, so let me tell you about a conversation I had with a Swiss banker maybe a decade ago. We were talking about what was then proposed, the end of Swiss banking secrecy. And this guy said, you know what? Out of 100 clients in my Swiss bank, 99 are here because of the secrecy, not because we're so efficient or so honest. We are efficient, we are honest, but we also charge 2 or 3% per year on accounts that we manage. So, well, uh, why do people have Swiss bank accounts? Because they're secret. Because once you put your money here, you can have what's called a numbered account. Forget it, not such thing anymore. But you could have a numbered account which is only known, your identity is only known to me and a few very senior bank officials. And the ordinary people in this bank, you walk into the counter, you take out money, put in money, you say, I'm account number 234C. Uh, they give it to you. Your signature just has to match, and the signature can be 234C. Okay, forget it. No, long gone. Now, did the Swiss banks shoot themselves in the foot? Well, no, it was the Swiss voters who are a bit leftist and like everywhere else, a bit woke, and and they thought that Swiss banks should not be depositories for, well, dodgy or hot money. And so they abolished bank secrecy. What happened? Huh, the banks downsized. An awful lot of the big banks went out of business. I think there was one called Volksbank. There was, what was one, UBS? Yeah, well, Bank Credit Suisse. Well, that was one of the biggest banks in the world. These banks don't exist anymore. Why? Because the Swiss bank customers have all vanished. Well, this I try to tell people what to do now in the age where banks uh, are very inflexible. In fact, you can get kicked out of a bank. Uh, they want to know the source of funds. Now, you might have been a doctor or a lawyer or something, and you saved your money, and you've got over $1 million in assets, in stocks. Maybe half of that increase as due to the fact that your stocks went up, but they want to know the source of your wealth. And would you believe a friend of mine uh, was asked to produce papers of more than 100 years ago to show where the family wealth came from. Well, who the heck keeps papers from, you know, a grant of land in California from the King of Spain in 1560? Come on. So people actually get kicked out of banks. So what do? Well, if you don't like banks, the the crypto coins have come to your rescue. So a lot of them are worthless. I wouldn't buy a Trump coin because it's just an electron in the air. But even though Bitcoin is just an electron in the air, at least it's accepted. It's been around a long time. It's even legal tender in places like Switzerland, some places in Switzerland, and in some South American countries and Central American. So you can put your assets, a lot of your money, into uh, Bitcoin or Ethereum. I've always liked gold. The younger generation doesn't seem to think gold is where it's at, but gold has gone up in value, in price, uh, about 50 to 100% in the last decade. And what does that mean? That gold is more valuable? No, gold is about the same as it always was. It's the dollar, and the euro has gone down in value. So your purchasing power in paper money is going down anywhere from 5 to 20% a year in almost every currency. Even Swiss franc the price of orange juice used to be 38 cents. Now it's $3.80. What the heck? Okay, so Bitcoin, gold, real estate is pretty good too, but that's getting more and more regulated. I have a friend who owned 4 apartments in Barcelona, which he had a nice income, about 12 to 15% a year on his money, but the city council of Barcelona decided that Airbnb was taking away too many properties from the rental market, and local people couldn't afford it anymore, which isn't true, by the way. But they simply abolished the Airbnb and made it quite unprofitable. So now places are just vacant, and the people who invested in Airbnb are getting no return. But fortunately, the prices of real estate are going up, and that's once again not really an increase in value. It's just a decrease in the value of the paper money. So that, by the way, is why inflation is popular with politicians, because a company that just makes exactly the same amount of money as it made the year before seems to be making 5 or 10% more. Why? Because the currency has simply been devalued. So the bottom line here, what to do, is to simply uh, not keep too much of your assets under management of the bank, but to simply go into other assets. And the world is shooting banks in the foot because they're who wants to be questioned about every deposit, and actually having a suspicious transaction report filed if you take out $500 to take your friends out, take 5 friends out for a nice dinner. Crazy, huh? Okay, so that ends banking for today. And my next video is going to be about how America shot itself in the foot and became from the largest creditor nation and great prosperity to what it's going through now. So that's the next video, and we'll see you, well, whenever you tune in.